Oh, what a way to get pumped up for a Monday night. The work week has begun. You're done your Monday. I'm not muted. I'm cold because it's winter out here in Canada. Welcome all in. Dr. Dynas, the one, the only broadcast voice of Monday Night Baseball. Thank you for bringing the crew over. I hope they weren't too rowdy for you. I hope they were under control. I know some of these people, can stir the pot a little bit. But Monday Night Baseball, man, get out the nachos. In fact, today it's corn chip day. Get out the corn chips. Get out the what flower was it today? I mentioned a little bit earlier, like pansies or roses or violet. I can't remember. That was so long ago. I'm a curmudgeon. It's curmudgeon day. It's corn chip day. It's puzzle day. It's free thinking day. And it's Monday night. 1 out of the 5 days is now complete. So welcome in. Going to do a little bit of OOTP first because, hey, some of you may have been working all day and didn't get a chance to get the drop. So let's give you a few minutes here of OOTP. And then the panel's going to come in and we're going to talk hockey, a real sport, along with curling, a real sport. Well, okay. One of those two things is not true. And hockey may not be even one of the top 4 sports in the United States. You probably got baseball, you got football, you got NBA, you probably got darts, probably is ahead of hockey. You got, what else? NASCAR. You got IndyCar racing, probably ahead of hockey. Bowling is probably up there. I know there's professional bowling, but somewhere in the top 138, there is hockey in the United States. So we're going to do a hockey podcast a little bit later. And if you haven't tuned in to this before, you're missing out. These guys they're good. They're knowledgeable. They're funny. They make mistakes just like I do. So I fit right in with this panel. Old man Fred, Frank the Tank, and Finn will be along at the bottom of the hour. But a little bit of OOTP first of all. What do we got going on in the chat? Danny D. Smith Jr., welcome all in. Haven't seen you too often. I think I've seen you from time to time in the chat. Danny, what's your favorite hockey team? Do you have a favorite hockey team? Do you watch hockey? Because some people that play OOTP baseball don't watch hockey. Like I said, it doesn't rank up there pretty high with a lot of sports. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NASCAR. All right, Danny, you are welcome onto the stream because hockey was in your top 5. Rob VD fans, go Flyers. Go Fly goes. The Flyers, yeah, the Flyers are doing pretty good. We'll talk a little bit of Flyers. We're going to talk about our midseason awards, who deserves the awards halfway through the season. And I'm paying a tribute to Boiled Egg today, wearing a little bit of the Washington Capital gear. Yeah, Washington Capitals, rocking a little bit of the Winter Classic because, it's winter, right? Got to rock a little bit of that. And what else we got going on? Go Winterhawks. Winterhawks, Portland Winterhawks, right? I'm a huge WHL fan because I'm on the West Coast. So I'm assuming you're referring to the Portland Winterhawks, who had a lot of rivalries with the Kamloops Blazers. I grew up in BC, followed Kamloops and Kelowna and the Victoria Cougars. We had the New Westminster Bruins there for a long time in British Columbia. And Kootenay Ice, I believe, were a team, or maybe they still are a team. But yeah, those good old WHL days when hockey back in the 70s, guys would, when they drafted you, the first characteristic wasn't how good you could shoot the puck. It's how good you were with the fists. That was a big attribute of hockey back in the 1970s. How about those Montreal Maroons? What do I look, 110? Come on, London. Those Montreal Maroons, yeah, great. Very similar uniforms, right? But this is the Washington Capitals Winter Classic, so I might have fooled you a little bit thinking I was wearing the Montreal Maroons, but just a big old M. They were simple back then. Big old M. You know who had a great uniform? The New York Americans. If you've never seen the New York Americans, you got to Google that. That was That was a very cool uniform. Before the Rangers came along, there were the Americans. Yeah, one of my favorite jerseys was that one there. Portland equals Evil Empire to the Kamloops Blazers and Kelowna Rockets. Yeah, well, because they were all part of the same, division, and fighting for Memorial Cups. Kamloops. We had Jerome McGinley that played for Kamloops. We had Shea Weber that played for the Kelowna Rockets. Portland Winterhawks. Who are some of the big names that played there? Now, of course, we've got Seattle with a team. We've got what's the other Washington State team? Do you guys still have a team in Coeur d'Alene? In Spokane? You still have a team, the Spokane Chiefs? Are they still around? Yeah, Washington hockey. But yeah, it is hockey night tonight, guys. After a little bit of OOTP, even Dr. Dynastic. Come on, Dr. Dynastic. You have to cheer for Seattle, right? Are you a big Seattle Kraken fan? Do you watch hockey, Dr. Dynastic? And even if you don't, just say you do. Watching hockey. Spokane still rolling. Good to see Spokane still rolling. Yeah, just a lot of big fans. A lot of big fans. This is where is Waldo? Reb Jr. Come on. Although, yeah, I see the resemblance. Yeah, I do kind of see it. If he was like a senior citizen, I can't go from Nick Nolte to Waldo. Come on. By the way, sporting the facial hair because I made a bet with myself on New Year's Day. I said, I am not going to shave until the Edmonton Oilers lose a game, thinking, I'll be able to do it 2 days later because, hey, Edmonton. Yeah, that did not go really well with the wife. Still hasn't gone well with the wife. Yeah. I'm in the basement. Yeah. Drink up. Happy Monday night. Okay. Let's talk a little bit of OOTP. What's going on in OOTP land? Danny gifting a sub to Reb Jr. after that Waldo comment. Wow. Geez, I guess I'll take it. I will take any handout I can get. Yeah, I'll be Waldo. I'll be Nick Nolte. You want me to be Mel Gibson in the Lethal Weapon years? Nick Nolte during 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy. Now, Nick Nolte back then, he was like Nick Nolte, right? He was one of the A stars back then, back in the 80s. And then the career, just like Nicolas Cage, just kind of just went downhill. Yeah, just went down. All right, let's take a look at the laptop bounty, or not laptop bounty, the laptop daily from today. Zuckus, someone mentioned Mel Gibson. Boiled egg, stick up for me, right? You mentioned Mel Gibson. By the way, this is like an Ezra getting me off track. After my stream today, I cut the Twitch stream and I kept on streaming on YouTube. Maybe I should save this story. I'm going to save this story for tomorrow. Yeah, we got more time to talk about it tomorrow. All right, the laptop daily. Suspense. Tune in tomorrow. Laptop Hound after Spore's Tuesday Treasure Trove to hear more about the flailing and fails and mistakes and oops of Laptop Hound on a Monday. I have not been muted yet. That is a good sign. It is late at night. This is the second show of the day, and I haven't muted myself. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, who won this laptop daily? I think it was our good friend, Don't Cut the D Block Dragon. All right, let's take a look at it here. Here we are, the Wichita Eagles. I believe Wichita is near, Kansas City, somewhere around there. Danny Smith Jr. gift subbing to the community, 5 in total. Mort, did Mort tell a joke? Let's see. And to Zuckus. I submitted my case for you being Waldo in the Discord. Guys. If I was Waldo, you wouldn't be able to see me because you'd be going, where is Lap? But because you can see me plain as day, I don't think that's an accurate statement. What else do we got? London and Rob BD fan getting the gift sub. Danny Smith Jr. Thank you so much. That helps on a Monday night. It makes the coffee a little bit warmer, and the goofy Washington Capital gear. No, I'm just kidding. It's not goofy. I can't do that to boiled egg. The Washington Capitals, Alex Ovechkin. Come on, Olaf Kolzig, Mike Gartner. They've had a lot of good players. Nicholas Backstrom. Where was I? Oh, yeah. The Laptop Daily. We have the Wichita Eagles beating the Red Spots. I hope they go to a clinic very soon, because if you're sporting a lot of red spots, maybe you want to get that checked out, if you know what I mean. It's Monday night. I'm tired. Yeah. No dad jokes tonight. I'll leave that up to Reb Jr. It's the hat. Yeah, it's the hat. Okay. How about more of a Nick Nolte then? There we go. Posing for my mugshot. Ezra, do not think about making this another emote. There we go. There we go. Back to Waldo. Waldo Nolte. So yes, don't cut the D block, Dragon. Come on. Let's get back to OOTP, right? OOTP. Don't cut the D block, Dragon, with the Wichita Eagles winning today's Laptop Daily. 4 points on the leaderboard for him, and he cakewalked in the finals 4-0. Is cakewalk a term in the United States? Do you say that? Do you say that he cakewalked his way to the finals? Or am I just being very Canadian? Yeah, cakewalk day to the finals, and he had some poutine on his way to Timmy's in his canoe. But the polar bear got in the way, eh? And then the polar bear said, no, Waldo, you cannot take this path down to Tim Hortons. Polar bears can't talk. So that doesn't make any sense at all. None. I rewind the last 30 seconds. You cannot get that 30 seconds back in your life. Just forget about that. Forget the Canadian accent, eh? All right. Well, we know where Waldo is right now. He's in a group of 750,000 people in a book that you're trying to find. So yeah, the Wichita Eagles won over the Orleans Firebirds 4-1 in the semifinals. They go to the finals and they win 4-0. They win their quarterfinal series 4-0. So they went 12-1. That reminds me of a good Montreal Canadiens team back in the 70s. 12-1 in the playoffs in the last 3 rounds for Wichita. So that begs the question. Is that a phrase in the United States? It begs a question. The dude, don't make me bring out the hat. I wore the hat yesterday. Not going to wear it again today. Want to go bowling? Hey, Zuckus, are you a good bowler? You got some good bowling shirts, and people will come up to us and ask us for autographs. Do you look anything like Steve Buscemi? That's the question. Was he in that movie too? That was a long time ago. Where was I? You forgot to sub yourself, Danny. Well, it's Monday. Give yourself, Danny. Give yourself 5 subs. Like just treat yourself. Treat yourself, Danny. Just go ahead. 5 subs for Danny. You could be a lifelong subber. There you go. By the way, do you have Subway in the US? We have Mr. Sub up here in Canada. We've got Quiznos. We got Subway. We've got Subs Are Us. We've got Mr. Waldo subs. No, we don't have that last one. Okay, what else am I missing in the chat here? Machia Pet. Did you just drop in? Like, Machia, get with the times. You're so 10 minutes ago. That was something that Reb Jr. said like 10 minutes ago. Boy. All right. Okay, back to the Laptop Daily. So there we go. Congratulations to the Wichita Eagles. Don't drop the D block to Wichita. Congratulations for winning. And a few other tournaments going on right now. One of which I've been eliminated on from the Daily Perfecto snack before dinner. And let's take a peek in how I'm doing with the late bronze. Because on the weekend, Don't Cut the D-Block Dragon and D Dempsey, we did a 4-hour mini Warbot stream talking about iron and bronze cards. Yes, it's on my VOD. It is. Dr. Dynastic, the crew that you brought over, wonderful as they are, did you not give them the prep talk? No Waldo jokes, no Canadian jokes, no hockey jokes. You didn't give them those talks? No mute jokes? Did you forget? Next time, put it on a card. Put it on one of those, what do they call those? Teleprompters. Put them on a teleprompter. All right. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Looking in on the bronze nightly, daily, bronze something, bronze. What is this? Late bronze round 1. And the series is tied 3-3 with, come on. OOTP, you're trolling me, aren't you? Because you know I can't pronounce names. And you expect me to, where is it here? Where is my team? Chat, how do you pronounce this name? Of all the names they give me to pronounce, BBQ, barbecue, I've seen you in my chat before. What kind of name is this? Okay, let's try and pronounce it. Rensselaer Wisnik. Well, we're tied with them. 3-3. We're all evened up at 3. Just call your team baseball team like Charles. Charles knows how to call his teams appropriate names that can be pronounced. Baseball team. Okay, guys, we're almost at the bottom of the hour. Thank you for hanging in here. We are going to start up the hockey show with myself and the crew in a couple minutes here in the green room, waiting to introduce themselves to you guys. And we're going to talk hockey, the good, the bad. There's some bad things going on in hockey and a lot of good things going in hockey. And even the All-Star game is taking place later this week. So we'll touch on all three of those things as we start up in 2 minutes' time. So we're going to take a quick break and back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining in. Waldo says hi. All right, we are back. It is Monday, January the 29th, and I am here with the full panel for the first time in a long time. We've got Frank the Tank from Montreal, Quebec area, from the Edmonton, Alberta area. We've got Old Man Fred and Finn. And of course, your host, Waldo, is back as well to bring you the best hockey action. Well, let's start with a guy that's been off the show for about a month now, Old Man Fred. You went on vacation, you all rested up, you geared, you're back ready to talk hockey?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was nice, 32 degrees where I was, and minus 40 plus where you guys were. So big difference for sure, right? So I highly recommend getting out of Canada in January. Thank you very much.
Were you able to find some good coffee down there?
Yeah, good coffee, good everything, right? It was we were in Colombia as well, so they might know a little bit about coffee amongst other things, I guess. And certainly Costa Rica has some pretty good coffee places as well.
All right. Well, I was on a half hour before you guys showed up, warming these guys up. They're ready. They're fired up. They're ready to talk hockey. We're talking WHL and a lot of other things too that didn't relate to hockey, but it was fun anyway. So we're here. We're ready to go. Frank the Tank does not have trivia tonight because we have so much that we have to get through. We're going to hold off on trivia. We're going to do that again next week. Fred, Old Man Fred, I don't know where if you were. I think you were here for the first trivia session, but we're going to move on and we're going to go to what we usually start with, and that is our logo discussion. So we're going to move on to the M's. And before we get to Montreal next week, we're going to talk about Minnesota and the logos that they've had. And they've had a few interesting ones, some that we've talked about when we talked about the Dallas Stars. But here's just a quick little video clip of what Minnesota has gone with their logo transformation.
The NHL doubled in size in 1967 with 6 expansion teams joining the so-called Original 6 franchises. One of those new teams was the Minnesota North Stars, playing out of Bloomington's Met Center. Their first logo was a green and gold N, with an arrow pointing both to the north as well as to the gold North Star above it. It was created by cartoonist George Karn, who was also responsible for the Lucky Charms Con and Count Chocula. Now there's a resume. In the 1980s, the North Star unknowingly became trendsetters as one of the first teams to add black for black's sake to their set as a trim color on both their logo and uniforms. The circle was eliminated from the logo. The N was slimmed down a little and given a bit of a bevel effect, giving us a look most remembered for the team's Cinderella run to the Stanley Cup Final in 1991. Speaking of black for black's sake, the North Stars underwent a major rebrand following that Cup Final run with an all-new black, green, and gold set, paired with a new wordmark-style logo featuring stars in italics, with the A acting as both the top point of a star and an arrow pointing north. This logo was not long for Minnesota, as the club relocated to Texas in 1993, where they took this logo with the team while they dropped north from the name to become the Dallas Stars. The NHL returned to Minnesota with a 4-team expansion spread out over 3 seasons. The new Minnesota Wild joined alongside the Columbus Blue Jackets during the 2001 season with their bold new red, green, gold, and wheat logo, depicting a typical scene straight out of the wilderness of Minnesota. There's a river, a row of evergreen trees, a setting sun against a red sky, and yes, there's a North Star. All of this was cleverly housed within and positioned to resemble the head of an unidentified species of animal. The Wild have used 2 versions of this logo since they joined the league more than 20 years ago. The Minnesota Wild wordmark arched over the top was removed from the primary branding during the 2013 season. Despite the new Wild franchise now existing nearly as long as the original North Stars, the love for the original team just won't disappear. The Wild have shown their respects to the first NHL team to call the state home by adopting the North Stars' classic green and gold color scheme a few times over the years, with the team expected to do so once again with an alternate uniform in 2023-24. Thanks for checking out this video, and be sure
All right. So there we have some of our Minnesota North Stars and Minnesota Wild logos. And like we do every week, the panel goes around and we pick what our favorite logo was from this franchise. Let's start with the youngest, and that would be Finn.
I have to go with the newest one. Not much to say. It kind of embodies Minnesota. Nice wild lands. As a newer hockey fan compared to the rest of the panel, I have to go with the new one.
All right. And Old Man Fred and Chad is weighing in with their opinions as well. Chat, let us know what your favorite logo is. Old Man Fred, did you know that the designer of the original Minnesota North Stars was one of those cereal, Lucky Charms?
No, isn't that something, eh? Wow. I only thought the Oilers had the comic book guy.
McFarlane, yeah. So which one do you like?
You know what? I am a traditionalist, so I would say more where they made the cup run against the Penguins. So I'm probably an 85-91 guy.
All right. Frank the Tank, where do you sit in here?
2013 now, because they're not the Stars anymore. They're not the North Stars anymore. So I picked kind of that logo with Dallas anyways. So, and out of the stability is pretty good for Minnesota compared to other teams that change logos like they change underwear. And Minnesota Wild, I already said, like the space when you have to tell your fans what city they're in. Either they drink too much at your games or they do some other funny stuff. So that's why I go with the most recent logo for them. Big process of elimination.
All right. And what do you think about, Old Man Fred, what do you think about when teams, adopt the colors on these new uniforms from the previous franchise? What do you think about that?
I think that's a connection with the older fans, right? Like the guys my age. So that can remember, as kids cheering for those colors. So I like the connection. I know that even the Avalanche do it every now and then, right? Go back to the
Quebec. Canes did the Whalers also, so that's
and
pretty
the Canes
cool.
too. Yeah. So I like it. I like the connection. It kind of pays homage to what they were before. So I think it's fine. And by the way, I am going to say as a new logo, certainly the Minnesota one is got to be one of the best too, right? So, but I am old school, but it's got to be one of the best for sure.
But Glenn, go back to what you had there with that uniform is better than the current one, and that logo is better than the current one. That's freaking cool, and I like that logo better than the one I picked because that doesn't technically exist. But I think those colors are way better than the current. That too. So that's the dark uniform. The other one was the white uniform. Both of them are better than the logo is better than the current one. So they should really think about doing a flashback because I think Dallas is like everybody else, that went dark they're on the road. They're black so it's not like they're stealing it. So if I were them, I would go with these two permanently.
And they've had many patches, shoulder patches along the years as well. So here's just a sampling of the shoulder patches that they have. For myself, I like the Wild, this one here, third row, second one in. I think that's cool. The font that they use for the Wild. So that's probably my favorite patch. Just very quickly, Finn, pick which patch, as a shoulder patch for that uniform do you like the best that they've used?
As a shoulder patch, I guess I'd have to go with the bottom middle row and I guess the middle left.
The bottom middle.
Yeah, so the middle bottom, like the third row down. Third row down. No, third row down.
Okay.
Up. Where's your cursor? There we go. That's the one.
Okay, that's the same one I picked. Yeah, I thought you were taking the one where it looks like the bear is about to
having a dump.
Yeah, looking
No,
like
I
he's
like
got
that
to
one.
do something in the woods there. Like I don't know what's going on with that one. Okay, so Finn and I both like this one here. Old man Fred, which shoulder patch?
Just because Minnesota is known for their hockey, I like that state of hockey one. Why not? Calgary's adopted the Alberta flag, like they're Alberta's only team. Pardon me
Yeah.
while I roll my eyes. So, So no, I do prefer that on Calgary. I think that's great. I like that actually. State of hockey is good.
My
Okay,
God,
any of these?
you're seeing skin, my friend, because that's just one little province. Dallas is America's team in football, so they screwed everybody in the USA. And you're complaining about a tiny province?
Well, not tiny for us. Thanks very much.
Exactly. It's big, Frank. Which one?
Yes, compared to the US, so big.
So Boiled Egg agrees he likes that state of hockey. Frank, any shoulder patch that stands out that if you had that uniform, you'd like it on as a patch?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with because it's baseball-ish. So the bottom right line corner. Yeah, that looks like a baseball thing, so that's pretty cool.
All right. Yeah. So Iowa, I'm taking is, they're probably their AHL affiliate that they have. So they've adopted a lot of the same colors and logos. And we can't go on since these were just introduced this week. We have to quickly go and talk about the what do they call this? Not the Winter Classic, but the what do they call this series? Chad, help us out. What is this series but with the American teams now?
Stadium series? Stadium, no?
Stadium, yeah, the stadium, stadium series. All right.
But these aren't real. These aren't the real shirts, man.
Yeah.
What?
These are the stadium series jerseys.
My God, the Islanders, man! Come on. That looks like a fucking hobo.
You know what's ironic is the guy wearing the Devils one has facial hair. That's kind of ironic. Okay, the Isles one for me, that's the worst.
By the way, Lou is with the Islanders, but
he's with the Islanders, not with the Devils.
He also has facial hair, so your joke works even though you fucked up.
There we go. Lou is involved everywhere. Okay, the Islanders is my worst one here. It's an Oilers ripoff. The Oilers were the first to do this kind of orange and dark kind of blue. I don't know if this is blue or black, but yeah, it's just horrible. Isles. My favorite one is the Philadelphia one because it's the most classic. It's the most one like the real one. So favorite Flyers, worst Isles. Finn, you're up next. Favorite and worst.
I have to go with favorite New Jersey, and least favorite Isles.
Okay,
I like I don't normally like red jerseys, but I think that one would look a lot nicer on ice with the black there.
All right, old man.
I like the Rangers. I like the NYR. I think that's pretty classic as well with their colors. And I hate the Isles, which will be pronounced Isles. And, it's going to be, people who can't read are going to have trouble with it. This is awful.
All right. And Frank, I know your worst one. You're unanimous. The Isles is the worst of the four.
Oh, yeah. And I think I like the three others. They're pretty close, but I'm going to agree with Ryan here and Boiled Eggs. New Jersey one looks like an actual devil. You look at the color with the red and black. It looks like a devil. So just psychologically, they have an advantage on the ice versus regular Flyers,
Yeah. And Fussmucker says the Rangers font makes it look like the Carolina Canes. So, yeah, a little bit of a copy there. But, yeah, those are the stadium jerseys that were just shown earlier.
I'm surprised you didn't want us to comment on the Justin Bieber jerseys for the All-Star game.
Those jerseys look terrible.
Oh my freaking Lord. That's why I'm surprised you didn't have them on because that's coming up real soon. Man,
that's a very lazy attempt.
What?
Yeah.
They look like
I didn't even want to spend any time on that. Just a lazy attempt.
I think he ate too many of these Tim Biebs before he decided to design. He was on a sugar high. I don't know what the hell he was on, but OMG.
Yeah. Maybe I'll look for those during the commercial break. And yeah, they were sued by a KHL team for the look of the logo on there. So
which one?
You can keep it.
just a bad set of All-Star jerseys, one that I would not want to buy. Now
they got sued. They got sued for the All-Star jerseys.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they did.
Well, there's a KHL team with freaking ugly sweater. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I know. You didn't have a big budget for logos and all that, but wow. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the action here. Tonight, we just have one game. We got 2 games tomorrow, 3 games on Wednesday, and then it's the All-Star break. And tonight playing, it looks like they've gone to overtime now, 3-3 between the Predators and the Senators. Not many games on tonight. Usually Montreal seems to be playing on Monday, but not tonight. Speaking of the All-Star game, we talked about it a couple weeks ago when Old Man Fred wasn't around. So we want to get Old Man Fred's opinion about the All-Star game. On Thursday, they're doing the draft, which they've done before, where, the different divisions or different teams are going to draft player by player by player until there's the last one left, Bill Kessel. Then they've got the skills competition on Friday, and then the game's going to go on Saturday. Old Man Fred, we gave our take a couple of weeks ago. Give us your take about NHL and All-Star action.
I'm not trying to be the old man that I am, but it's just impossible not to be on this. I see kids really enjoy it and so on. I don't know. I've seen some advertising for it, and I think some of it is priced for families, and perhaps that's a great thing. And that's about as kind as I can get. I hate the interruption in what's going on right now. It takes a week away for most fans. Certainly, the Leafs and the Oilers, which are the 2 teams I care about, they're done for a week. Millionaires get to go to the beach, and God bless them for that. And if they're not participating, a lot of times the players, Ovechkin is who I'm thinking of a few years ago, he didn't want to participate. He said he'd rather, just kind of hang out and not go to anything. And we've got, Brad Marchand that's made a comment about, Edmonton's going to get an All-Star game. And he's like, lots of people are going to want to go to that. Ha, ha, ha. So it's a thing that really bothers me. It's a corporate thing. All leagues do it. And I know that, the NFL one's probably got to be one of the biggest kind of jokey ones when you think about it. But man, I hate it. There's nothing to get excited about here. And it's a waste of time. Don't even watch, actually, truth be known. Don't care about skills competition. Don't care about who of those players is making at least north of $7 million, probably the cheapest guy. And now he can maybe win $1 million if I don't know what, they got some kind of skills thing going down. It's just a waste of my time. And baseball's okay. I like the baseball All-Star game, but it too is a corporate grab, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way businesses do it. But really hate it. Really interrupts the season. They whine about the Olympics. This is crap as far as I'm concerned, and everybody's staying in North America. Well, that's not true because they're on the beaches, most of the players. But yeah, waste of my time. Hate it. Thanks very much.
And these are the jerseys right here. These are what we're going to see: red, white, and blue, and yellow. And looks like the Star Trek logo. I'm surprised Paramount doesn't sue them for the middle Star Trek logo there as well. And apparently the KHL team is very similar to this. So
these are so ugly. Before they draft players, they should draft shirts.
Wow.
I mean, if you had to have one in your closet, I would not want any. I would not spend $250 on one of these. I don't know, the white one maybe, and I don't like white jerseys, but oh man, these are just
the red isn't bad. The red I would take, and I don't mind the red. So
yeah.
It stands out anyway. But yeah, they're yeah. I'd also have to be 10 years old because gross. Like it's just not.
But look at the sleeves, man. It's just like there's like 3 lines, and it's like there's stars in the sleeves, man. It's like, come on, man.
This looks like they should be racing in the Tour de France or something like that. They look like bike jerseys more than anything. It just
they do like
it's an Adam All-Star jersey for kids like they're 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, but who's paying $250 for their kid to outgrow it in 3 months?
Yeah, I couldn't find the article about the KHL suing, but apparently that was a thing that they are suing them. I can't find anything on here. Well, that was a good little distraction here talking about All-Star Game. I agree. I don't like it. I mean, unless there's something to play for, it's just, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, it's all corporate for guys to, sell things and sell more jerseys. And I don't know. Anyway, enough on that. Let's go a little bit more serious, guys. This is something I don't want to spend too much time on, but we do have to address it because it's one of the biggest hockey stories outside of the NHL right now. And that is the situation going on with the young kids. And today, this article just came out a couple hours ago from CTV News. Barry Mann amongst 2018 World Junior Hockey Team players named in sexual assault investigation. Now, anytime something like that comes out, we don't know all the facts. It's got to go through the court system. It's got to go through due process. But it's just something that really taints the sport, taints Canada a little bit. I don't know who wants to go first here and talk about the situation. Before you do, though, I think this paragraph, is something we should outline. The complainant filed a civil lawsuit 2 years ago, alleging she met a couple of young men at a bar following a Hockey Canada gala and had consensual sex with one of the players. She also alleges 7 others entered the hotel room and directed, manipulated, and intimidated her into remaining in the room where she said she was sexually assaulted. And the police have confirmed that, this complainant had made that, filed that complaint, just after the situation took place. So it's not like someone coming out 2 years later and filing it. It was made right away.
It doesn't matter if it's 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later. Has no freaking impact. Sorry.
So, Frank, why don't you go first?
What you want me to say? Like, there's so many angles of approaching this. What are you looking for? I can say one thing. Ottawa, to me, deserves all the good karma in the world because one of the players they didn't re-sign after his RFA contract. No clue if it's because Melnick had 2 adult children who are the female gender. They took over the team before selling it. If that had an impact, but they're the only team that actually cut ties with one of the alleged players. The rest of them just, I guess, pretended it didn't exist, business before all else. Hockey's a macho industry anyways. One of the teams actually traded one of the players to another team. So if I'm the team receiving that player, I'm filing a grievance, either reverse the trade, etc. And one team tried this summer all that it could to trade another one of these alleged. So it's like they're all snakes. Ottawa just rose above because this is a player that actually played in the NHL during his rookie contract. So that's the first 3 years, made the team. I think he had 18 goals, 32 points in his best season. And then they don't re-sign him. Not even an offer, nothing. So he went to play in Europe. But my hat's off to Ottawa as an organization. So I'll just say that. We can't say too much because we don't know all the facts. We know 18 of the 22 players said they weren't involved. There's 5 that are summoned. So one of them lied. And the Barry man is still maintaining his innocence. So either he's the consensual one that became a crime when he didn't tell the other guys to get the fuck out because he participated in the after effects. So maybe he thinks because the first act was consensual that he's free and clear after, and maybe he didn't do anything, but just being in the room, it's like robbing a bank. If you're in the getaway car, you're robbing the bank even though you're not in the bank. So maybe he doesn't understand the legalese. So maybe that's it. Maybe he's that first player. Who knows? But one of them actually lied. The other ones all stayed silent. The other 4. So we'll see how it plays out. All these careers are on hold because they're not playing in the NHL until the verdict is given. So that could take 1.5 years. And then there's going to be the NHL punishment. If a little bit of gambling gets you half a year, just imagine what rape's going to get you. And Miller bullied intellectually challenged high schooler, and he got a lifetime ban until he gets an interview with the commish. And that's for bullying in high school. So just imagine what sexual assault will be if they're guilty. So we'll see, but their career is pretty much kaput because there's only one of the 5 that was an impact player. So we'll see how it goes, but you're not going to see these guys. Right now they're getting paid. So whoever has a contract till year end gets money, but then they don't get any money because they don't have a contract. And then, so it's going to be a long time before we see any of these 4 that were currently in the NHL and the European guy that was biding his time because he probably hoped that he would get a non-guilty verdict. So they're all the same age. So they're 24-ish?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So 1.5 years plus maybe a year or indefinite with an interview with Bettman. So we're looking 4 years. So it'll be 28. So who knows if they're skill level. The other curveball is they could go play in the KHL and other leagues that don't respect suspensions and all that. So they could get playing time over there. But if they did that and I'm Bettman, I put that like a strike against them, It's like you're circumventing I stay over there. Bye. So that's my take.
Hockey's had a lot of controversies over the last 10 years. There was the Patrick Kane situation. There was the Chicago Blackhawks situation, even an Austin Matthews situation at one point. So it's not the first time it's happened. These are, young kids that were playing for the World Juniors. So we're talking about, 17, 18-year-old kids. Finn, anything to add to this? Any comment?
Yeah, it doesn't help that Hockey Canada already tried to pay this. Well, they did pay it off once already, this particular act. But I think if convicted, I wouldn't be surprised if there's jail time. And I don't think that they will ever play in the NHL again. I don't think any interview or anything is going to allow any commissioner at the time that they tried to have an interview with the commissioner is going to allow them to come back, not with what happened in Chicago. And but on the flip side of that, the NHL held a story in their back pocket and released it minutes after this news dropped about expansion. So they're already trying to, maybe try to play it under the table a little bit. So I think that's very poor timing. And sure, they can claim ignorance, but there's no way they didn't know this was coming. So poor. I want to say not effort.
Public relations.
Poor planning, poor public relations by the NHL. Everybody caught onto that real quick, and if convicted, I think these players are never going to play in the NHL again. That doesn't matter how many interviews they have. I don't think they're ever going to be back. And I don't think even if they're allowed to play again, I don't think any team is going to take the heat in trying to re-sign one of these players.
Well, again, the poor taste to come out with the Utah news, expansion news, within a day of this news coming out. Old man Fred, I know you've been away and maybe outside of Canada, and I don't know if you've been following the story, but any comment that you have about this?
It's just sad on so many levels. I certainly feel for the victim in this situation. I think that's always got to be said, and I think all of us agree on that. But I feel as well that I hope I don't know what transpired in this hotel room. I mean, obviously we all jumped to the worst case. There could be other things, and I'm hoping that gets out. So perhaps maybe not all 5 of them are equally guilty, and that needs to, and that's why we need this court case, and that was why it needs to come out, and so on. Hockey Canada looked awful trying to cover it up. It bit them in the ass, as it should, we'll see. We'll see what transpires. It's really hard to speculate in today's world. The memes and the social media and so on. You're pretty much convicted before anything happens, which is sad too. So sad situation all along, and that's all I can really say about it.
All right. Yeah, I did want to just kind of address it a little bit because it is that, sometimes we got to talk about the controversial issues a little bit. Yeah, great input there, guys. All right, let's get on to some fun stuff here. Let's get back to, NHL and hockey. And, when we came back at the end of January, we thought certain teams would fall out of the top 10, certain teams would go in. And I have to give Finn credit because Finn nailed a couple of them. Finn said that by the time we come back, he said that the Los Angeles Kings would fall out of the top 10. He's the only one that said that. And he thought, that Toronto would go in. Well, Toronto's just 1 point back. So I'd say you were pretty close on that. And the other one that you nailed pretty good was in terms of players that would go into the top 10 of the scoring race. You were the only one that said Elias Peterson would go into the top 10. We all thought Austin Matthews, who's pretty close. Some of us said Leon Draisaitl. Some thought Quinn Hughes would fall out. He's still there in the top 10 now. And well done on the predictions. You're nailing these, unlike some other members of the panel. So, yeah, top 10. I guess
honestly, it's luck. It's more than anything. You can look at trends. I like to look at trends every now and then, but it's a lot of it's just luck.
Yeah. And a shout out to the top team in the league right now, tied with the Boston Bruins. None of us, Finn predicted Vancouver making the playoffs or on that cut line. None of us would have thought Vancouver would be this high.
When you asked for your surprise top 4, I remember vividly saying Vancouver would be a surprise top 4. And I remember Frank almost falling out of his chair when I said it.
Yeah.
Franco.
Yeah.
Nobody. Glenn's correct. Nobody had Vancouver number 1 in the league. Nobody.
Not number 1, no.
And no one had Boston that high because we all thought
we thought Boston would fall apart. Gee, what is Boston doing? Seriously, they should have fallen apart. Pisses me off is what it does.
They're just
I don't know.
Team.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you can lose your top 2 centers and still be tied for first in the league. I don't.
Oh, God.
I want that Kool-Aid, please.
Okay, quickly around the table, less than 30 seconds each. Your surprise at the midway point of the season, your surprise in the top 10. Which of those teams is your surprise? Probably most of us are going to say Boston. For me, it's Vancouver. Finn, how about you? Who's your surprise?
No, I only had Boston losing 20 points on the year, which still would have put them somewhere in the top 10, I believe. Top 10 surprises, I would have to say Winnipeg.
Winnipeg? Old man Fred?
You know what? Florida. Thought Florida would drop off. I really did. And I got to mention the Oilers. I'm sorry. I did watch the first 2 weeks of the season. They shouldn't be here, but they are, and I'm glad for it.
And Frank?
Has to be Vancouver. I'm sorry. There's no other surprise here. Like Boston was number one. Vancouver was not in the playoffs, so no, it has to be Vancouver as a surprise.
All right. The other prediction we made was how far Connor McDavid would be out of the scoring lead. Finn and I said 4 points. I think Frank said about 6 points that he would be out of the scoring lead. Well, Connor McDavid is fifth in scoring, but he's 18 points out of the lead. We didn't see that he'd be that far back, but McKinnon and now Kucherov is in first place for scoring. They're just lighting it up. I still think Connor will finish top 3 somewhere. I don't know if it'll be number 1, but I still think he's going to finish top 3. So let's move on to our next kind of main discussion here. We wanted to talk a little bit about awards. We are going to go through and give chat here our mid-season rewards. Who deserves the awards? Not who we think is going to win it at the end of the year, but who deserves it now for each of the major awards. So let me bring that up on screen. And chat, feel free to give your opinion. Again, it's who deserves it now. So let's start with the Hart. And we're going to go in this order here. Who is your Hart Trophy winner as of right now? Frank, who would you give it to?
I went off a little bit off the board, not that much, because the Hart is the most valuable player versus Lindsay, which is the most outstanding. So my final 2 I was debating, and I put the other one in the Lindsay. So for here, I'm looking, okay, who's most valuable to his team, etc. I was looking at the stats, and I chose Pasternak because you had Boston as a surprise, being tied for first, and it's due to this guy. If you look at his team, the second leading scorer is Marchand with 47 points. That's the biggest 1-2 difference out of all the contenders for the Hart. Everybody has supporting cast. We all know Connor's supporting cast. We know McKinnon's supporting cast, etc. But Pasternak, my God. So without him, Boston would be falling apart. He's top 4? I think he's at 72 points. So he's just 4th in the scoring. So I give it off the board, David Pasternak.
Okay.
Mid-season Hart.
And we'll try and go like 30 seconds each because we got a lot of these to cover. So we'll just give kind of a brief reason why I'm going McKinnon. I think Colorado has no secondary scoring. I think McKinnon is holding that team together. They're one of the top teams in the league. Yeah, they got Rantanen, but they don't have Landeskog. McKinnon is my Hart Trophy winner right now. How about you, old man Fred?
I'm going to say McKinnon as well. I'm a big McKinnon fan. Can't wait till we get him in the Olympics. Representing Canada, he's fantastic. That's all I got.
And Finn,
I'll go with Kucherov. Had Tampa Bay kind of fallen out of this year, missing the playoffs, but he's not single-handedly dragging them in, but he's playing really damn good. Kind of going back to Kucherov of 3-4 years ago.
All right, we got a couple McKinnon votes in the chat. We've got a Fussmucker saying a ditto, so I don't know if that's for Kucherov or for McKinnon, but let's move on to the Norris Trophy. And Finn, you're up first. Norris Trophy is given to the Defenseman of the Year. Who would you award it to right now that is not an Oiler?
Quinn Hughes. I never had an Oiler here. I had Quinn Hughes here. Took a nice big step forward. I mean, if you're beating Makar and how Makar's played for the last couple of years, then you're doing something right. Putting those pucks in the net is helping the team.
Fred.
I'm just going to keep saying the same guys that the guy before me says. So when I go first, I'll have a trouble. Quinn Hughes.
All right. I'm going to go away. I'm going to go with the other guy. I'm going to go with Cale Makar. To me, the Norris Trophy should be best all-around defenseman, not just offensive defenseman. I think they're both fairly equal offensively, but Makar is better defensively. He plays the penalty kill. He's played over 90 more minutes on the penalty kill. You got to reward that a little bit more, so I push him up ahead of Hughes.
Where's
And
your Colorado jersey?
Yeah, McKinnon and Makar so far. Yeah, that one's for you, Chadwick. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I also went Quinn Hughes. Tough decision with Makar, etc. But the fact that he added a few more arcs to his arsenal, meaning shooting and scoring, he never scored before. So I went Quinn Hughes for this award.
All right. GT Sundown, another Avalanche fan out there in the chat. And I just think it should go all around. I don't think it should be just on offense. And Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar has been better. And he penalty kills. Okay. Let's move on to the next one, the Jack Adams. This is the Coach of the Year award given out. And as of right now, I don't think it's even close, even though the panel is going to disagree with me probably. Right now, you got to give Coach of the Year to Rick Tocchet from the Vancouver Canucks. Playing out of their minds. And they've got talent, but no one saw this coming. Finn, how about you? Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I have Rick Tocchet as well. I had Vancouver playing in the playoffs, but ever since he took over halfway through last year, he's had them playing a very good game.
Frank.
I don't know why you say disagree. This is also very tight. So I went with the other guy. I went with the Boston back-to-back because he won last year. So I'm calling it back-to-back, even though it's a midseason award. So Jim Montgomery doing miracles with that Boston team.
Yeah, very good choice. Yeah. And old man Fred?
Yeah, I think you got to go with Tocchet again. Just he seems like a decent coach, although you got to give a little bit of credit to that guy in Philadelphia as well. I'd give an asterisk to him. But, yeah, just how Vancouver has risen, that's got to be – you can't ignore the coach on that one.
Yeah, Philadelphia, another good choice there. Even the Edmonton coach. I mean, you take out their first coach that they had and the new coach that they have. I mean, they got the talent.
Yeah, he hasn't been around long enough. By year end, that might change, but for midseason,
I want to argue that and say no, he doesn't deserve it because Edmonton was chosen by most of the NHL to start the season to be a cup contender. So he's taken what considered to be a cup contender and made him play like a cup contender.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Bowness, another good choice there. Boiled egg. I'm sure he'll be in the contention.
Oh, there's so many good choices on all these awards. Some of them, man, almost went heads or tails. They were so close.
Vezina Trophy. This goes to the goaltender of the year. We're not going to go through the Jennings, which is kind of shared for the best team statistics for goaltenders. We're just going to go Vezina. And old man Fred, you don't get to copy this time. You get to go first.
Crap. Goalies, weird people. I you know what? When I looked at this, so yeah, I know people have looked at stats and stuff, but I'm retired and I really don't care to do anything I don't want to anymore. So I didn't look at any stats. So I'm just going to go with the heart. Let's see. I like Hellebuck. Thanks.
Frank, no copying now.
Of that intelligent conversation, I don't think Frank's going to worry. So go ahead, Frank.
He said that because I sent him my answers, so he knows I have Hellebuck also.
I didn't know that. Seriously.
Yeah, so that was a toss-up with Demko. I looked at the advanced stats for both, like expected goalie, goals against, GS, goal save above expectations. They're so close for all of them. It was really a toss-up. They both played 43 games when I checked. So I went with Hellebuck just because I think he a little bit more of a difference maker during games this season. He outright won some games for Winnipeg, which I think Demko did not do as much. So, yeah.
Someone check on Boiled Egg, please.
Yeah, Boiled Egg needs some help, I think. So,
He's been in the hot water way too long, I think. Finn, you're a Vezina Trophy winner.
Here we go. This is where I go off the deep end.
Gibson, come on, do Gibson.
I looked at Hellebuck. I look at
Franchise goalie Josh Gibson.
Jesus, I really wanted to pick Demko, but I just with the recent biasy and if you ignore the first half a month to a month of the season, I gotta go with Skinner. He is playing lights out. Last 12 games hasn't let more than 2 goals in. Gotta go with that guy.
That is going off the deep end. There you go. Boiled egg call.
You know what? I want to change mine to Samsonov. He had 2 good games, so I'm going to do that now.
Well, they predicted that this is worse than the John. They're equal to the Gibson pick.
Look at his stats. The last 20 games played, he's the best, one of the best in the NHL.
That's half the season.
Exactly. That's
half of the half, a quarter.
That's why I said if you ignore the first little bit. If you ignore the first little bit.
You're not in charge of awards.
Recent bias.
You had a great 15-game stretch there. Here's the heart for you, buddy. Sorry, you played the full year. Sorry, man.
We're not predicting the full year here. We're predicting
right now.
Recent play.
Yeah.
All right.
Recent play. He's
after I'm going Hellebuck. Ryan scored. Ryan foiled our perfect sweep here for Hellebuck. I'm going Hellebuck. I think he deserves it. Winnipeg would not be where they are without him in goal. So let's move on. Skinner and Campbell, your William Jennings Trophy winners coming up. Okay, the Selke. I go up first. I'm going Patrice Bergeron. Fred, you're up.
Yeah, because he was good on the pond, on the garage league with his kids.
I hear he's a great dad, is what I'm hearing.
That's a good reason, man. I love it.
No, I'm going a guy that won't win it because he's not a center, but I'm going Mark Stone. Mark Stone, if you do look at his stats, I think he leads the league in takeaways with 55 takeaways. He plays, a minute and 40 seconds, usually on the penalty kill. He's always out there for Vegas. So for me, the Selke would go to Mark Stone. Old man?
Just help me out. This is the defensive forward. Am I correct on this one?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Mitch Marner actually won it 1 year. Is this true?
Oh,
I don't know. No, I don't think he won it, but he was in the top 3, and he's one of the favorites again this year.
That's because they let Finn vote. They let Finn vote for that one, so that's why Marner made it into the top 3.
Okay, there you go. Geez. I had a name, but now it's gone. Best defensive. You know what? Why not a guy named Sid Crosby? Yeah, there you go. Maybe he's playing great defense too. He's doing something right out there. So I'll give it to him. Thanks.
And I heard rumors Sidney Crosby to Vancouver. Could you imagine? Sidney Crosby.
Well, I've heard, get him out of Pittsburgh. I've heard somebody going on about that. So, God, that would be something.
For my almost 80-year-old mother who just lives, breathes Vancouver Canucks, she would. It might give her a heart attack if Sidney Crosby went to Vancouver. Well,
we wouldn't want that.
We don't want that. No. We need her to stick around. All right. Who's up next? Frank.
Selke. All right. The next generation of all-around players. He's been training under Bergeron for years. Alexander Barkov. Great two-way player, and he's one of the rare ones like Bergeron that can be the number 1 center on his team and still be great defensively. So that's who I picked. He was always the bridesmaid. So time for him to wear the wedding gown and all that. So he should win and win multiple ones. He won a few years ago, I think, when Bergeron got hurt. So Mark Stone also good. I'm seeing some of the names pop up from the chat, and Glenn, Mark Stone, great choice also. So again, a lot of these were tough.
Yeah. And Finn, your Selke trophy, boiled eggs predicting Janmark is going to be your choice.
No, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. No, I'm joking.
No, he played the full season. Hey, why don't you go with the call-up they had there, buddy? He played a great 22 games there.
I'm going with the guy who's drinking a bit of a fountain of youth while his counterpart has fallen off the deep end with old man time, or whatever we call it, Crosby.
Okay. So 2 for Crosby, 1 for Barkov, and 1 for Mark Stone. All right, let's move on to the next one. And don't you guys, I think all of you would agree with me that the best trophies in any sport is NHL. I mean, not just the Stanley Cup, but the individual award winners, just amazing trophy. I just love them. Such history to them too, but just the look of them. Before we get on to the Calder, old man Fred, have you ever been to the Hall of Fame in Ontario, Toronto?
I certainly have. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Frank, have you ever made your way there?
Nope.
No, and neither have I, and I don't think Finn has been there as well. But
I spent one night in Toronto while waiting for a plane, so no.
Yeah, just I mean, look at these trophies, just outstanding. Okay, let's get on to Calder. For those of you that are new to hockey or don't watch a lot of hockey, the Calder Trophy goes to Rookie of the Year, and of course, it's really interesting this year because Connor Bedard with the Chicago Blackhawks was injured with the jaw, and he still currently leads the rookie race. But Finn, is he still your Calder winner as of right now?
Yes, he is. Because I think punishing a young rookie for getting injured is ridiculous, and that's spoken from a quote unquote homer bias because of Taylor Hall and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid and so on and so forth, who lost out on this trophy because they got injured. So no, I'm still going with Bedard. He's shown that he could dominate on a terrible team.
Frank?
Bedard, he hasn't been out, missed 11 games, hasn't been out long enough for the Midseason Award. Problem with Connor is got passed over by a super old rookie, but at least he had somebody in front of him, so Connor does not yet. We'll see. He's out another 6 weeks, so it might change for the year-end award, but for now, he gets the Rookie of the Year.
Okay. And I'm going with Connor Bedard. It's narrowed, I think, quite a bit. If Connor misses many more games, I think then it's a much more serious conversation. I think my second choice, if I had to pick one, would be Rossi with Minnesota. But right now, it's still Connor's to lose. And old man Fred?
Yeah, I 100%. It's Bedard. He did enough, certainly in that first little bit for this injury. I didn't realize it was going to be this long, 6 weeks. I thought he'd be coming back a little bit sooner. So, yeah, that's too bad. But I think when he comes back, he'll reestablish as well. So it'll be fine.
All right, we've got one more award to go. That's the Lindsay, and then we've got our Game of the Week predictions. We have a break coming up here, guys, so we'll be back in 2 minutes' time. Go refill your beverage. Go to the washroom. See you back in 2 minutes. We are back for the last segment of the show here. Lanky Frank, Frank the Tank, Old Man Fred, Finn, ready to close off the show for you guys. And one more trophy to go. This is the most outstanding player, the Ted Lindsay, and in my opinion, my favorite looking trophy of all the NHL trophies. Let's draw back the curtain. Look at that. What a great looking Old Man Fred. What a great looking trophy. You like the old player look. And
absolutely. Yeah. Glad to see him in Detroit, not Chicago. Didn't he play for Chicago too, old Ted?
I just remember him as a Detroit Red Wing.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I thought there was some kind of union thing and they traded him.
Oh, and, maybe.
Yeah, he got near the end of his career, and Chicago was like the San Jose of the time, I guess, at that time. So
yeah, boiled egg. You're going to have to keep track of all the great quotes that we have, and we'll have to publish a book or something, because I'm sure we'll have some great quotes at the end of each season here. Okay, Ted Lindsay, Frank, you started going first. You're going to end off going first. Who is your outstanding player in the NHL as of now?
So as you can probably guess from my previous comment, when I picked my heart, I picked Olivier McKinnon's, because to me, he's not the MVP, but the most outstanding player for the first half of this year. What he's doing every time he has another gear, because for the first 6 years, he was good, but everybody goes, where's the next gear? And then he was injured. Then he got another gear, then another gear. But then this year, man, he's averaging last year, 168 points per game. He was injured, so that's why he didn't follow Connor all the way up, but he would have been second leading scorer last year, and he's at 1.7 something this year. It's crazy. He like after rocket boosters, he missed games again this year, but wow, this guy, man, it's just amazing. And if he keeps producing at 1.7 clip, Connor's not going to catch him. So, yeah, that's why he's my Ted Lindsay award winner, not my heart.
Finn, how about you?
Yeah, I had Kucherov as my heart. I figure he's the most valuable to his team. But I have, like Frank, McKinnon as my Ted Lindsay as most outstanding player.
Fred?
Most outstanding to his team and most outstanding, McKinnon. I went with him. He's a double award winner for me.
A guy that's on the pace to outperform his goal total ever, his point total, his assist total. He's on a career year. And just when you thought he's getting a little bit older and might slow down a little bit, oh no, he's revving it up. Nathan McKinnon is my Ted Lindsay winner, winning both the Hart and the Ted Lindsay. All right, good stuff. Excellent. So those are our midterm report award winners at the end of the season. We'll do this again before the actual ones. We get, I think, during the playoffs is when we get kind of the top 3 that are nominated. Or do they announce the winners during the playoffs? I forget how that goes.
They announced. Oh, I don't remember now.
Yeah. I think they announced the end of the year, and then they announced the winners during the playoff.
I think the winners are.
No. They announced the nominees during the playoffs because they have an award ceremony.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's what they do.
Yeah, they have that just before the draft, though. Yeah. All right. Next up, our game of the week, and Old Man Fred.
The lottery that's during the playoffs. That's what it is now.
Yeah, the lottery. The game of the week, Old Man Fred, you were on vacation, so you didn't get a chance to weigh in on this. We talked about Patrick Waugh and his return to hockey with the New York Islanders. And it just so happened that next week, the Islanders went to Montreal. So Patrick Waugh got to face his old team. Frank the Tank said the Islanders would win 4-3. Finn said the Islanders would win 3-1. I said the Islanders would win 4-2. And Montreal won 4-3.
I got the score at least. I'm improving. Little victories.
So, Old Man Fred, no one gained on you. You still are second with 5 points. The chat, both 2 predictions in the chat. Fussmucker predicted 5-4 Montreal, and Boiled Egg got it perfect. So he gets 2 points for that.
Oh,
Boiled Egg is up to 7 points now. He's leading the entire prediction race over all of us. So good stuff there, Boiled Egg, predicting Montreal would win 4-3. And here it is right here. Islanders outshot them 46-26. So it probably should have went to New York. But Frank, what's up with the Montreal goaltender stealing all these games?
Don't know, man. It's not supposed to happen because they have the three-headed monster. But it's working. It's like every time, they have their bad games. Montembeault allowed 8 goals last weekend. But this was his bounce-back game. Don't forget, Patrick was his idol. He wore 33 his whole career. Montembeault did. He got to Montreal and couldn't very well wear a retired number. So I think he went in there wanted to show his idol that he's pretty freaking good. So I think he was extra motivated because of that. But he's been like this all year. So I think all three are taking this as a Fussmucker's right. Usually Islanders don't outshoot their opponents. But I think it's like they want to prove that they want to play more. And like Allen had a great game. He came back this weekend. And like Primo is going to be he's not going to play. He's going to play one game in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks again because he's the kid. But like Allen and Montembeault are just going at it. It's like heavyweight contenders just bashing each other's faces look, that's the only reason why we're in it. Everybody says, Montreal's improving and all that. No, it's all about goaltending. It's only about goaltending. Montembeault is top 5 in goal saves above expectation in the whole league. So, yeah. Awesome.
Maybe he should get the Vezina.
Well, he's more deserving.
Okay, well, let's
is the homer. Jeez.
Let's finish off. We are going to have a game of the week, even though there's only a couple more games. We got to have a game of the week so we can talk about it next Monday. And Frank the Tank, Lanky Frank, you've got one right out of 10 weeks. 1 out of 10. Even the TSN monkey was better at predicting games. Frank, come on.
All right. You know what my game of the week is? Blue versus yellow. Hopefully they face each other in the All-Star game. Yeah!
Blue versus, we don't even know who's playing. We don't even know who's on all of the teams.
Okay, blue versus whatever. The blue has to face somebody the first time. It's blue versus the other.
Frank is feeling blue. Okay, no, we do have 2 more days of games. So we're going to pick one of these 5 games either on Tuesday or Wednesday. Old man Fred, you're coming back from vacation. Pick one of these games as our game of the week.
Well, I really am only interested in Canadian teams, and I see Ottawa and Detroit. So that's probably going to be the one. Ottawa, we know, is having some tough times.
They won. They won.
Yeah.
They won in overtime.
They actually did win. So, but they faced some tough stuff. But it's at Detroit. Detroit's a pretty decent team. I'm going to go 4-1 Detroit.
4-1 Detroit for old man Fred. Okay, Frank, before you copy our picks, pull yourself within 7 of Boiled Egg here. Come on.
3-2 Ottawa. Overtime for maybe 3 extra points.
3-2 Ottawa in OT. Finn, give us the real answer.
Oh, yeah. You didn't want to go with the heavyweights of San Jose versus Anaheim?
That's the Macklin game.
Detroit 4-1.
That's exactly what old man Fred said. You want to go with the same score?
Oh, no, we'll go 4-2. 4-2 then.
Okay. In Detroit, I'm going to go with Detroit. We're going to call 5-2 for Detroit. So, Frank, you have a chance to make some ground here if Ottawa wins.
That's why I chose Ottawa. I have no choice at this point, man. like when I try to get the right team, I suck at it. So I might as well just go counter to what I thought you guys were going to pick. It's the only way I can catch up.
Well, the good news is you're not going to gain ground on Boiled Egg because he's going Ottawa. He's going Ottawa 5-4. GT Sundowns going Detroit 5-1. Fussmucker 6-3. Anyone else still there in chat? Put your prediction. What is the score going to be on the Wednesday game?
Glenn,
Ottawa,
I can't catch
Detroit.
up on Boyle because if I get the right score, I get the bonus points. If I get
yeah.
overtime, I get another bonus point.
There's no bonus points for calling overtime or
Of
shootout.
course there is. It's a new rule.
No,
Yeah,
it's
new
no.
rule.
New rule. Old man Fred agrees.
Yeah, I do.
You're going to go overtime every week now just to try and catch up. How about we
I have no
deduct the
choice.
points if you're wrong?
And then deduct it, you're wrong.
Well, as long as somebody doesn't say 4-1 in overtime, we should be all good.
And last question before we end off, old man Fred. It's been a month now since your Kachuk rant. He was player of the game against the Islanders. How are you feeling about Matthew Kachuk these days?
He's a puke. So that's how I feel about him. He's a puke. Somebody should punch his face in, as far as I'm concerned. But besides that, everything's good. Yeah, God bless him. I love him on his little commercial where he's punching his brother. I wish the mom would get in the back seat and punch them both. But that's all I got.
And Jordan Eberle, fan Jordan Eberle was player of the game yesterday.
Second best player of 2008.
Behind who? Skinner? Josh Gibson?
Behind one Jonathan Tavares.
Okay, Jonathan Tavares. All right, guys. We
Hey,
had
by the
full
way,
show.
Matthew Kachuk was not only the player of the game, he was one of the 3 stars of the week with Connor and McKinnon.
Oh, okay. There you
It was
go.
announced.
All right. Well, that's another week, guys. Fantastic show, fantastic conversation. We'll be back next Monday after the All-Star game. We'll actually be able to talk about the All-Star process.
We don't have to
Blue,
watch,
go blue, team blue.
you don't have to watch the All-Star game, though, right?
Hey, we all have to pick a color who's going to win the All-Star game. Okay, so I picked blue, obviously. We don't even know who's going to get picked. Just pick one of the 3 other colors. Everyone.
Okay, everyone pick a color. Frank is adamant on taking blue.
Blue!
How about you, old man Fred? I'll take the
I
last
like-
one available.
Red is very pretty. It's a pretty color, so I'll go with red.
And I'm going to award a point for whoever's right here.
Oh,
Okay.
come on.
So blue to Frank,
Yellow
red
and
for
white.
old man Fred.
Because
All
it's
right.
pretty.
Yellow or white there, buddy.
And
I want to go yellow. Let's go with yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow's the worst jersey, so the
What's
players
so
will be so
ugly?
depressed.
So
They
ugly.
won't be able to make passes. And by the way, the women are having an exhibition, the LWP,
Yeah,
whatever.
the 3-on-3 PW.
Yeah, so
That's something we haven't talked about.
I think one of the women's team could beat the Yellows, but I'm just saying that like that.
well, old man Fred, you might want to tune in on whatever night it is because they are honoring the 1967 Toronto Maple Leafs during All-Star Weekend.
God.
Yeah, by the way, lots of wheelchairs because they were having trouble finding players that were still alive, and then they went to old age homes all over the world, and some of them don't even fit on the wheelchair, man. They're on the gurney, hospital gurneys, man.
They'll be bringing in the grandchildren, right? And the grandchildren will be 50, for God's sake. Good Lord.
I thought I'd mention that in case you wanted to tune in and
Yeah,
reminisce. a little
you
bit.
know what? They got to celebrate something, and they got nothing else, man. So, frick.
Well, the urns look like trophies.
Oh, give that one to the young guy. That was pretty good, actually.
Ben, come
Yeah.
on, come on.
They could have celebrated Daryl Sittler still having the record for most goals and points, right, in the game.
February 7th, 1976.
Yeah, so he still has that record. You know, they could have done things that are more recent than the Flower Power 60s, man.
Kidding.
So, Glenn, I guess by process of elimination, you're going to root for Team White.
That's the one jersey I said I would get. If I had to get one of the four, it would be the white one. So thank you, Ryan, for taking that yellow one, the ugliest
like the
banana, the banana
sun.
jersey.
You can always count on the sun rising.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh,
Almost poetic,
A
actually.
little poetic.
Finn with the jokes and the intellectual comments.
He's
and
had
then
a
he
lot
goes
of
with-
sleep. I
He's
think.
trying to compensate for that Skinner bullshit. He's got to redeem himself to everyone.
Okay, as we always do, closing comments. Finn, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a break. Tired of watching the Oilers win all the time.
I want them to lose, please. One game.
No, I mean, honestly, it's quite something to see them have to play Vegas to beat the record. Kind of a little bit of poetic justice if they win.
It's a tie to record, no?
No, to beat the record is against Vegas. They tied the record.
No, to tie against
It's the
Pittsburgh.
tie.
No,
Yeah,
they're,
it's the
they're not
tie.
tied yet.
Oh, they're
17.
tying it in Vegas? No.
Yeah. And then they play Anaheim after Vegas. So
Ooh,
if they
I'm figuring
Yeah.
19 wins and then they'll lose.
that'd be
Yeah.
nice. Okay.
Old man Fred, closing comments.
Closing comments. Really surprised at how few games, the Oilers are 5 games behind Vegas, which is really something. I thought it'd be, so when I look, the Oilers have only played 45 games, and you look throughout, and I don't see anybody even on 45.
They
except
played
for the
4
Oilers.
games less than the entire Pacific.
Yeah,
The
it's
rest of the
just
Pacific
amazing to me how, and I don't know when they'll be making that up. Obviously, they will.
in
But
February.
man, oh man, that's just something. So yeah, things look positive when I'm looking at the Oilers stuff, right? But yeah, and even the Leafs actually surprised me that they're in the 47, I think, is what the Leafs have played. So yeah, it's just surprising. It's just what a discrepancy. So
Frank the Tank.
Toronto's now a wild card team. Who would have predicted that?
Yeah.
So they're at 58 points. Philadelphia is actually behind the 2 wild cards, but their division, the Met, apparently it was supposed to be good, but they suck. But out west, new team that's in St. Louis made it all the way back. They were playing like crap for a while. They were going to be sellers, So good on them. And obviously, I'm glad the Oilers, I hope they get the record. Canada first. I'm glad the Oilers finally are playing well. And then they didn't do it with the offense. They did it with the defense. So they started playing a 200-foot game. And I think it's like Ovechkin when he used to score, but never won, and Crosby won everything. Everybody said Ovechkin's going to have to realize there's 2 zones. There's the defensive zone and the offensive zone, and he's going to have to commit to the defensive zone before he wins. And it took him a long time to get that through his skull, but he started back-checking, and they won the cup.
Yeah.
So I think Leon and Connor said, look, let's play more in our zone and help this D out. They need our help, blah, blah. And they're playing better 2-way game, and everybody is playing a better 2-way game. And success breeds confidence in what you're doing. So now they can't backtrack. They're stuck playing a 200-foot game. And hopefully it's going to work in the playoffs. So, yeah. So that's that. And, Detroit is back also in the playoffs. 7-2-1 the last 10. So good on them, man.
I want to add a little more to boiled egg here.
Yeah.
Guy saying, look at the teams they beat. Well, yeah, on 16 games, the Oilers were picked to be a cup favorite at the beginning of the year. And out of these 16 games, if they played normally as a cup favorite, they probably should have went 12-2-2 or 12-3 or something like that. So, yeah, they only won 3 to 4 games more than what they would be expected to win. But the thing is that they're winning them. They could easily fold and lose anything.
Ryan, boiled egg, let him smoke his little weed because Chicago last year eliminated the Penguins from the playoffs. So it doesn't matter. You don't downplay a 16 win. You have to still play the
any
16
team could beat any team in this league. Chicago could beat Vancouver tomorrow.
And Chicago eliminated Pittsburgh, and they eliminated somebody else. I can't remember. But you still have to play 60 minutes against the shitty teams, and Pittsburgh did not. So I don't downplay, look at who they beat. They still have to go out and beat them. And I'm sorry, but when Campbell and Skinner were playing like shit and all the defense were playing like shit, I think the Oilers could have lost against some AHL team. They were so bad.
Yeah.
All right. So beating an NHL team, I don't care who it is, kudos to them. You know, it's like you still have to play the 60 minutes and win. So I don't buy that at all.
Well,
Sorry.
and I think the case can be made for a lot of the Western teams. Vancouver's schedule, they've played a lot of those easier teams too, and they're number one in the league, and they've had an easy schedule so far. So
when you're in the top of the league, every team is worse than you.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, true. Every team is worse, but
yeah, but they looked at they looked at strength of schedule for until the end of the year, and Montreal had the third worst. So that's another thing you have to be careful.
Well, and
the team Montreal is facing has a winning percentage of 5.52 till year end.
To start January, the Oilers had the easiest schedule to win out the year, so they played all their tough games already.
Yeah,
or tough schedule already.
Anyways, I don't buy that. Like I said, Pittsburgh didn't make the playoffs by 2 points, and that's the 2 points they gave Chicago and somebody else. Same thing. So you still have to beat them. And like San Jose went no wins the first 11 games. Then they went 9-8 and whatever. Then they went another 10 games without winning. And now they're winning again. It's like anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah.
Well, Edmonton lost the first 2 games of the season to Vancouver, and they were expected to
quite handedly
better. So.
Yeah.
And how about my closing comments? 2 words. Philadelphia Flyers. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
We lost 5 in a row, man. Are you watching what they're doing, man? You're proud of this? 5 in a row?
You're just going against your comment. They're in the playoffs. Are they not in the playoffs?
Not for long. Keep beating that drum, man.
Playoffs. That's all. You just got to get in. It doesn't matter if you lose 5 in a row to get there.
There's 32 games left, buddy.
All right. We'll see. Okay.
Well, I guess New Jersey has no chance of making the playoffs in your head. You want to take that bet today?
We got a tough hill to climb.
Well, New Jersey has to take somebody's spot. All right. Let's go. Make that bet.
No, I'm not taking that bet. We're not taking bets on who's going to win the award at the end of the season. We said as of right now, and right now, the Philadelphia Flyers are in the playoffs. That's all that matters.
All right.
All right.
5 in a row.
All right. Go Team Blue. I mean, go Team White in the All-Star game.
Blue! Blue!
You guys can take off. I'm going to close the show with the outro. Have a wonderful week and enjoy the All-Star game, old man Fred.
All right. Goodbye.
So.
right. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Again, the gang has left. I'm about to sign off here quick. But yeah, thanks. Just again, if you're still hanging around, I did raid over to Dishnet, give them a little bit of love from the hockey show here. So if you rated over there and you still have both tabs open, I am out of here. Yeah, always a good conversation, and just so thankful you guys are able to hang around and talk hockey with us. We all have our different opinions. We have our homer bias and everything that goes with it. But in the end, it's still all about the love of hockey. So have a wonderful night. Catch you tomorrow. And again, just be the best that you can be.